A lot of the content I've produced so far references books, but to be honest, a lot of the information can be learnt for free from podcasts, blogs and YouTube, etc. So I thought I would share some of my favourite resources in today's video. As always, all the links can be found in the description below. Right, let's get into it. First, let's go through my favourite podcasts. The Choose FI podcast. Choose FI has been my go-to podcast for all things FI. It is hosted by Brad and Jonathan, who are huge personalities in the FI movement over in the US. Some of my most memorable episodes are ones with JL Collins, Mr. Money Moustache and Michael Kitsos, so definitely go check them out. Next is the Aussie Firebug podcast. He's an Aussie blogger and FI enthusiast who is currently working and living in London. I find the Aussie journey is a lot more relatable to the UK than the US in terms of student debt, their retirement scheme, which is called the superannuation, which is very similar to the UK pension system, etc. Aussie Firebug is really chilled and a likeable personality to listen to, and he has done some great pods with the very well-known Aussie investing expert Peter Thornhill. Next up is another Aussie one for you. It's called the Fire and Chill podcast, hosted by two popular bloggers, Pat the Shuffler and Dave from Strong Money Australia, who retired at 28, I believe. This is another really easy one to listen to. Two easygoing Aussies just having a chat every 2 weeks about financial independence and occasionally ranting about the Australian property market. Next up is the Bigger Pockets Money podcast, hosted weekly by Mindy Jensen and Scott Trench, covering topics on saving, investing and all things financial independence. This is a good mix of information on both stock investing and real estate, as you would expect from a Bigger Pockets podcast. Next up is the Property podcast. It seems that a lot of people in the financial independence community seem to be either all in on property or all in on stock market investing. Personally, I've used a combination of the two to progress towards my FI goal, and I'm a big believer in property investing for the right personality type. Rob and Rob at the Property Hub are the only property podcast I listen to, as I have found that others tend to push an agenda for attending courses, etc. This podcast is a great resource and provides sensible investment advice with no pushy sales, ideal for anybody in the UK interested in property investing. The last podcast on the list is the Meaningful Money podcast. Not a FI podcast per se, but Pete Matthews is a chartered financial planner and covers all aspects of financial planning in the UK. Pete offers very sensible personal finance information, but this may not suit the hardcore FI enthusiasts out there. The occasional interviews with guests such as Barney Whiter from The Escape Artist and Lars Croyer are always good to listen to. Next I will cover my favourite websites and blogs. The first one is Monovator. Written by co-bloggers The Accumulator and The Investor, Monovator is the go-to UK blog for passive investing. They also run a portfolio called the Slow and Steady Passive Portfolio, which I find interesting to follow along with, and do a great email newsletter every weekend summarising all of the best finance related stuff from the week. The next blog I read regularly is The Escape Artist by Barney Whiter, who retired at the age of 43 and shares his thoughts on financial independence on a weekly basis in his usual concise and punchy style. This is my favourite financial independence blog and is one of the few UK based blogs that I read. Next up is jlcollinsnh.com, and in particular the stock series. This is the popular blog by JL Collins, who wrote my favourite personal finance book I have read, The Simple Path to Wealth. But a lot of people don't actually realise that most of the information in the book is available in the series of blog posts on his site, called the Stock Series. Next up is The Mad Scientist. Since retiring early, The Mad Scientist has stopped putting out as much content, which is why I didn't include his podcast above. However, it is well worth going back and reading/listening to some of the earlier content. He has created a great free tool called the FI Laboratory on his website that I use as part of my monthly financial review. I believe it was inspired by Vicky Robbins' wall chart from Your Money or Your Life and plots the journey to FI in a nice visual chart form. Last but not least, we've got YouTube channels. The first YouTube channel is Our Rich Journey. Aman and Christina retired at age 39 and relocated their family to Portugal. This channel focuses on ways to make money, save money and invest money to reach financial independence. It's also really interesting to see them living a fantastic life post-FI and the potential that FI provides for reclaiming your time to spend with loved ones. I'm particularly enjoying watching their journey of renovating a house and building a small holding in their backyard. Next is the Investing Demystified series. Lars Croyer, a former hedge fund manager turned passive investing champion, released this video series that pretty much summarises everything you need to know to get investing in 5 short and simple videos. And last but not least, we've got Sensible Investing. Check out the playlists Passive Investing, The Evidence, Stock Market History, A Crash Course for Investors, and how to win the loser's game. These videos are very professionally edited and put together in a digestible format featuring research from top academics in the world. So there we have it. I hope it has been useful, and if you know of any good ones that I have missed, drop a comment below so me and the other viewers can check it out. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.